Welcome to City and State TV. I'm Albany Bureau reporter Matt Hamilton, and I have with me today Jeff Williams, Director of Public Policy at the New York Farm Bureau. Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
First, I want to talk about the federal farm bill. For the last couple years, there's kind of been this, I suppose, limbo where there's been a lot of uncertainty. Tell me a little bit about where we're at this point with the federal side of things.
Yeah, sure. First of all, it's a huge sigh of relief that the Farm Bill has finally passed. We've been waiting at least a year for this bill to get passed, and we've put tons of work in it. Our farmers have been waiting with bated breath, essentially because now that it's passed, they have some assurances, they have a sense of normalcy. They can plan for the future because there's provisions in the Farm Bill that they can bank on, like dairy provisions, for example. The Farm Bill gets rid of the MILC program, which is a safety net for dairy farmers when prices go pretty low. It was a good program, except it had some impacts on farms, whether they're large or small. Some larger farms were capping out in the kind of assistance they got. So now we have a margin insurance program, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds here, but it really helps all farms purchase insurance. So when dairy prices get close to where the cost of production is, the insurance kicks in and provides farmers a safety net. It's a much more responsive product than the MILC program.
Now, a few years ago, when there was this concept of the fiscal cliff, I spoke with farmers who referred to the dairy cliff, if you will, with the Farm Bureau the Farm Bill being up in the air. Are the provisions that are in there right now, are they adequate for dairy farmers? I mean, are dairy farmers saying that they agree with what's in there?
Yeah, obviously, you go into these huge debates on huge bills. They have tons of money attached to it, and you always come out, if you're a little happy, then that's probably the best you're going to do. You never get everything you want, but it's definitely workable, and we're actually very thankful for our federal partners to seeing this through.
Okay. On the state side of things, one of the big things right now is the estate tax. The governor has a reform proposal out there, and you last week were part of an Empire Center a press conference announcing kind of a report on the estate tax. Tell me a little bit about where the Farm Bureau stands on that and what you're looking for in terms of reform.
Yeah, I mean, our main message is that the estate tax sounds like it's benefiting rich people, the 1%, and farmers are anything but the 1%, yet the estate tax at the state level hits them disproportionately. I mean, the $1 million threshold in New York State is very, very low compared to the federal $5 million, or other states across the country who don't have a estate tax, or have higher thresholds. With a $1 million estate tax in New York State, a modest farm of 125 cows, a couple hundred acres of cropland, which they grow corn and hay to feed those 125 cows, and just the machinery that goes along with that size of a farm, which isn't big at all. That's a mother and a father and maybe a kid who came back from a college to help run the farm. They're not rich by any means. You throw the machinery in there and you definitely exceed $1 million. And then it becomes very tough then if the father or mother pass away, to pass that farm on to that child, the next generation, because they have to pay the estate tax on it. And so it's a real disincentive for the next generation, the younger generation of farmers, to get into farming because it's just so expensive. The average age of a farmer is about 57 years old, and they're getting older. And so we're really focused on getting the younger generation, and this estate tax threshold of $1 million doesn't help anything at all. So that's why we're advocating for a $5 million threshold, which the governor put in his executive budget.
With that $1 million threshold, there's this idea that people are leaving the state to die. How much harder is that for farmers to pick up and not even just leave New York, but leave the Northeast where there are estate taxes in various states? How much harder is that than, say, if you were a baker and you owned a bakery, or if you owned a clothing store, something like that, to pick up your business, pick up your family, and move elsewhere so you don't have to deal with it?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a whole different animal because you just can't pick up 400 acres and move to Pennsylvania or Florida or Texas. You're tied, the farmer is tied here, not because they have to be, because they want to be too. The farmers have been in the family for generations, and they feel a lot of responsibility for keeping that going. They want to farm in New York State, not just for family reasons, but also we have great weather, ample water, great soil. And so it's very hard to pick up. I mean, almost impossible. So which makes it even harder for farmers when they deal with the estate tax.
It's almost impossible, but are you seeing farmers do it at all?
Not really. Maybe on a very small scale, and they purchase farmland elsewhere, but by and large, they're very tied to the land here in New York.
Okay. The estate tax is obviously a big priority for the Farm Bureau. What else are you looking at in terms of farming in this legislative session?
Yeah, we have a lot of different interests and ideas that go across the spectrum, whether it's tax and finance or energy costs. For example, we definitely support getting rid of the 18A utility assessment, which is 2% added onto an electric bill on a farm, or anyone pays it. You and I pay it. That hits farmers big time because we use a lot of electricity. So we're looking forward to seeing that go away if we can. We are definitely working for budget funding for promotional programs. We have a wonderful maple industry in the state, for example. I think we're number 3 or 2 in the nation in maple production. The funding that we're advocating for would help promote our industry, not just in the state, but across the country, and even in Dubai, around the world.
Okay. Speaking of promotion, there's a bill out there right now to make yogurt the New York State snack, the official New York State snack. There's a lot of New York products. What do you think of yogurt being the official snack of New York State?
I think any agricultural product grown in New York State should be the official New York snack.
Fair enough. All right, Jeff Williams, thank you very much.
Thank you.